All right. Well, as many of you saw, hello. We took some of your responses over the last 2 weeks. Hey, Avatar, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How are you? Great to see you. And we wanted to do a deep dive of all things mass pay. We know that we've done one or two of these in the past, and we thought it was a good idea to bring this back and really kind of explain some of the nuances. I know a lot of you have provided us some questions. We also have the contact form, questionnaire form, that each of you filled out that's been on the newsletter for the past, I think, 2 to 3 weeks, so that we were able to receive some questions. And we really wanted to walk through the nuances of mass pay. And what we can do is really dive in really briefly from the beginning of like what mass pay is to us, what purpose do they serve, what goals do we have with mass pay, and really answer some of your questions. But there is, and this is mine and Duquesne's really kind of understanding, is when you're a new ambassador, when you are new to the community, this is really kind of like the hidden gem, right? Or maybe like the redheaded stepchild, no pun intended, because I'm a redheaded stepchild, of like what you can do and the purpose in which mass pay can serve as, because it's a neat little tool that you can utilize. And I think a lot of you have used it in certain aspects, but not knowing the full capacity in which you can do it. And also some people that join Root don't really know that you can focus on a part of selling or sharing and then earn rewards that can later turn into dollars, crypto, points, coins, euros, pounds, yen, rubles. I'm trying to think of it. Rubles. If I'm forgetting your currency in your current country, I see Suzanne's laughing at me. I got most of them. Maybe, maybe most of them. So that being said, I first want to dive in, and we do have our one of the executives from MassPay here, Avatal, who is getting ready to travel, but he's currently in northern Israel, I believe, right? That's correct, Avatal?
Center.
Central Israel. So he is here to share and to really give some more insight under the hood for MassPay. And so first off, let's go really in detail about Root as an ambassador. And for those of you who have been an ambassador for quite some time, forgive me if I'm going to bore you, but we do have some new ambassadors here. And so let's go through this. So to become an ambassador, you need to share it with two customers, and those two customers need to sign up separately and then purchase product. Voila. You are now an ambassador as long as you agree to accept becoming an ambassador. You unlock the rest of the compensation plan and everything starts to work. You can start to accrue points, sharing rewards, all the fun things that our 6 minute and 49-second video explains in detail. Matching rewards, sharing rewards, all the fun things. Thank you so much. Root you. You will start to see you accruing funds in which are points in your backend wallet. And you will have several, and you'll have an area in which I'm gonna showcase my account just so I know. An area in the back of your wallet where you can elect to do a withdrawal. And when you elect to do a withdrawal, you are going to be asked, give me one moment so I can show everybody. Dun, dun, dun. Takes a second to share now with the new, a withdrawal request. And when you do that withdrawal request, you are asked to enter in your email. And you're going to click to save the changes to your email. That information is then when you execute a withdrawal. So you do a withdrawal request and you get selected to go to your payment settings. And we have a FAQ on Zendesk that really goes into detail about how that works and what happens, but what every Wednesday and on Friday, so every Tuesday and every Thursday, we send a list to MassPay of customers, ambassadors that have elected to do a withdrawal request and whatever amount that they have selected. Can be anywhere from, we've seen, what's it, I don't know, $5, Duquesne? Anywhere from $5 to hundreds of thousands of dollars we've seen in the past. And so when you make the payment settings, you enter in your email, and then when you do your first withdrawal request, we send MassPay your information and they create your account and they place the funds in which you elected to transfer to MassPay in your MassPay account. You get an email and it basically says, hey, here is your MassPay account information. Click here to log into your account. And then the rest is all handled on the MassPay website system. And that goes into many, many details in which where you can elect to transfer your funds to crypto. You can do an ACH, you can do a wire transfer. I said crypto, you can do ACH wire transfer. You have MassPay, you have the credit card avatar. I'm looking to you to make sure because I feel like I'm going down a dark, deep hole of
You can
debit card in the US only, but I think this program is coming to an end now while we're looking for a better, cheaper partner for that. Because the fees were a bit we're not happy with them.
great. But that being said, and just to use the lingo of MassPay, those are all considered railways. Different mechanisms in which you can take the money from your MassPay account and deposit them into Tina. It's really strange watching your camera follow you around the room. I love it. It's great, but it's definitely jarring. Take care of your errands though. I see you over there. You're working really hard and your camera's just all over the place. Oh, look at that. Hopefully there's you got some relive greens in there. That being said, MassPay has elected a large amount of railways in which you can select to deposit your money into whichever account that you want. That is a 30,000-foot view of our partnership with MassPay and the role in which they play within the Rootverse.
Can I add a few things?
I would love for you to, because I probably missed a few.
No, I think you nailed that. And I know Avatal will go into more detail here, but just for you all to understand the Root headquarters thought process point of view and why MassPay is who we are with. MassPay is able to send funds to over 230 countries. And so Root Brands, who is in, I believe, over 90 now, 86.
Yeah.
We added 4 last week, I know. As we continue to grow, MassPay has already grown that far. And in addition, they have dozens of currencies they are able to transfer into. And so I know we've got this question multiple times of like, why MassPay? Why not some of these other alternatives? And just to be frank, nobody has sent us an alternative that is able to match at least the level of countries and the amount of currencies that MassPay has at the moment. And so we have had people send other options, and Avatal knows all this. So this is not news to Avatal. So, but people have sent us other options and they might be better for people in Germany, or we get a lot of people who send us US dollar accounts that would be great for people in the US, but they don't have the ability to go and send funds to South Africa or to some of these other places. And so I just want you all to understand one of the great parts of MassPay is the fact that they're in and able to send funds to banks in over 230 countries. Again, they are not the bank themselves. They just have partnerships with these different countries and different banks. And so from root headquarters, that is why MassPay is who we're with currently. Again, Avital will answer a lot more of the nitty gritty questions. But I know there's been some confusion and questions why we pick MassPay, and also if MassPay is a bank. MassPay is not a bank. They partner with banks in different countries and currencies, and Avital will go into details for that. But we've got some comments about is MassPay and does Avital work for a bank? No, they're not bankers themselves. They partner and work with groups all over the place, and that's why we were partnered with them. That's all I got, Patrick. I wanted to explain our thinking a little.
Yeah, and before we hand it off to Avital, I know a lot of you are putting messages in the chat. I appreciate that. I would love for this to be a Q&A towards the end, or if you do have a question. But really the understanding with what MassPay is they are liaison from us to a bank. They help us get your funds to your account, and they take our points and turn them into funds, dollars, crypto, euros, yen, pounds, all the above. So with that being said, Avital, I know you've been active in the chat. I appreciate you answering some of those questions. I want to try and alley-oop and lob you up a nice little base hit so that you can kind of kick off your start. But I really wanted to open up the ability because I want, if there's any new ambassadors here, to understand really the way in which how they can work with you, which means electing to do a withdrawal request on their root account, and that we set them up their account. And maybe we can talk and you can start about, there are a lot of, and I see on my screen, individuals that treat this as their business. And so their bank account might be their business account, but their root account is their personal. And so I really want to make sure that we start off why it's so important for your root account to match your MassPay account, because when we're setting up the account, we're transferring a lot of the user information to MassPay. So Avital, you want to start there?
Happy to. And thanks for giving me the time, everyone, and having me on. I'm really happy to answer your questions. And as Patrick said, MassPay is not a bank. Okay, we have a network of dozens of partners. Every partner is usually specializes in a specific geographical area or specific currency, from anywhere from from euro to SEPA to crypto to Ghana, as someone asks. Okay, all of these are supported. However, at the end of the day, unless you're sending money to crypto, you are sending money to a bank account. Okay, and even though we are not a bank as an organization, we do have to follow all the banking regulation and compliance requirements in order to facilitate money transactions. One of the first of these, and the very clear one of these, is that because you're basically depositing from your account to your account, we need to know that your bank account is actually yours. So if you're depositing money to an account that's not in your name, that's a red flag for banks, and that will make it a red flag for our compliance department. That can get you red flagged, and then your account will be temporarily blocked. We would ask that you show us a bank statement or a check so we can see that the name on the account is actually your name. We'll ask you to upload a photo ID. And if those do not match, then we will not allow those transfers simply because of money laundering laws around the world. Now, depending on where you're depositing your money to, there might be different rules and different regulations if it's within the EU, outside of the EU. In the US, every region has their own regulations that that we follow. And working in 230 different countries, we follow quite a large variety of compliance regulations. Anything you want me to add here, Patrick, or do you want me to go through just how do we withdraw money?
So, and I say this a lot to customers, and ambassadors, is that I really, and I want to go in detail because I know that you and I have had conversation about this. When somebody goes into compliance, that it behooves MassPay to help said client to be released from being in compliance and to help them get their funds, that you are acting on behalf of what your intermediary, so what the bank is telling you is a flag. And so a lot of conversations that I've had with ambassadors is tell MassPay your situation that is personal to you, that MassPay doesn't have a dog in the fight. And I really want to make sure that we press upon that to our ambassadors, is that you are not government. You are not the bad guy trying to look for something to get somebody on. You are just trying to help do business with the ambassador that is trying to transfer money. And so it best serves you to say, well, I'm a US resident that has a Canadian bank account, but I'm living in Costa Rica. I know that that was an example. I used that as the last one, but more so explaining your situation. If you have a business and your banking is in Northern Cyprus, but you're living in Germany, it's better to say, hey, here's my situation. This is my business. This is where I'm doing banking. This is why I deposited the money for this fund or this withdrawal request, because I'm traveling abroad with my family or whatever. And I want to make sure that I press upon our community that we partner with MassPay because of their customer support, their involvement with several different many different banks, hundreds of countries, and the ability to transfer funds into different currencies. That is why we work with MassPay. They are here to support us. And I don't know if you have anything to add about that, Avatar, but that is really what I want to make sure that everyone, like, you're our friend. You're not, you're an ally of our ambassadors. You are not somebody that is going to go against or try and get one of our ambassadors in trouble. You are just acting on where they're trying to maybe put a withdrawal towards that might have gotten flagged by that current, let's just call it the railway.
And what our goal is 100% to help facilitate the transaction. And you know what? I'll be maybe slightly too blunt, but if we cannot facilitate the transaction, then we're not profiting off that transaction, which is definitely not in our best interest. Our goal is to help you get your money, but we have to comply with banking regulations. We have to comply with anti-fraud, anti-money laundering regulations. Otherwise, if a bank flags us then and decides to block it, then that's done. There's no discussion anymore. Once the bank has decided this is refused, it's done. So the best thing you can do is be as transparent with us as possible, because our team is the intermediary that tries to make this happen. And I hope that resonates.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I think everyone here and the questions that I'm seeing, a lot of people are trying to really personalize the questions in which they're asking. I'd love to dive into any of the data that we've pulled from, let's just say, the questionnaire, or really some notes that we can make in regards to furthering the conversation of the role that mass play really plays with us. So, Avatar, why don't you dive in there, and then we can leave some room at the end for some questions.
Okay, so before I start sharing my screen, I'm going to just try and walk through the questions that I got in the form. Unfortunately, I did not get a lot of questions, and some of them are not very clear. There's a question that just states 19. I don't know what that means. If it's code, I didn't get it. There's one saying reliable and swift transfers, and that is always our goals. Our goal, depending on where you're withdrawing, usually we have same day or next day bank transfer. Some regions we might only have slower, but usually up to 2 business days. Crypto is immediate as far as I know. There's one about sending money to Bitcoin. We support Bitcoin. We support Ethereum. We support USDC, and hopefully very quickly USDT, which has a short outage right now. And the last thing that I would like to address is someone said they're pro customer service. I'm not sure what specifically this is about. I can say that we have spent a lot of resources enhancing our customer support in the last few months. We used to have one team working on customer support. We have 3 teams right now, one specifically for when you're blocked for compliance reasons, one for our clients, for Patrick, for Duquesne, and one for members. Our average response time is 40 minutes. And we are covering 7 days a week. So hopefully you have, whoever had a bad experience, next time you reach out to support will have a better experience. If not, you can definitely escalate through Patrick and Duquesne. They have direct contact with me, and if things need to be dealt with, they are dealt with. But I think the experience that I know right now, people are very happy and supported.
So I have a question based off of that, Avatar, of if a customer is so if one of the ambassadors is having an issue, what's the first thing they should do, which I'm assuming you're going to say reach out to customer support, but what all should they include in their emails? So what helps your team the most for them to include when they're reaching out to you all?
So first thing, as you very clearly said, the first thing is to reach out to support. I'm sure everyone has the support email, but I just put it in the chat just in case. Be as clear as possible, okay? Give us the date of the transaction, how much money you try to withdraw, and what happened. Try and I know it's frustrating when you want to get paid and your money's not in your account. And everyone in support understands if you need to vent your frustration. But the clearer the description of the problem is, the easier it is for us to help you. If the money is not in your account, it's been a few days. Usually, if you send the money an hour ago and it's not in your account, support will tell you it could take up to 2 business days. If you sent the money 3 days ago and it's not in your account, add to your request a bank statement showing the money never made it there. That will save a step, because that will be the next step for support. They will ask for a bank statement, and they're not doing that to say, I don't believe you. They're not calling you a liar. But when we will reach out to our partner saying, hey, you were supposed to deposit 100 euros to this account, it's not there, the partner will say, show me it's not there. The partner will want to reach out to their banking partner and make sure what happened. So the more details we have, the faster we can help you. Now let me jump into how you make a withdrawal, which is honestly fairly easy. Okay, so this is the MassPay login screen. You get a link to it when you are, when you get an email saying you just got paid, you get a link to the screen. You log in. I apologize for any slowness, as if you can read the small letters here, I'm on my dev account because I don't want to do any withdrawals on the actual production account. I'm not really sending money anywhere. So this is my account, my demo account as a user. This account has the push to card feature, the debit card feature. So you can see here Visa. Some of you might see it, some of you might not, depending on your location. This is only available for US citizens. You click transfer. When you click transfer, you see the full amount available for you to withdraw. And you automatically get that amount, and you see a list of countries. So my last withdrawal was to the United States, which means my default here is going to be United States. I can click on this and just search for any country I want. Okay, someone asked about Ghana. So I've never tried to withdraw to Ghana, but let's see. Let's say I want to withdraw $150. There is no need to do a pre-conversion. You withdraw dollars, we convert it for you. Okay, so when I click next, let's see what kind of support we have in Ghana. Honestly, I don't know. Okay, so you have bank deposit, bank wires, and you can see I can deposit in US dollars. Let me zoom in. So I can deposit in local currency, euros, or US dollars. And whichever I choose, that's going to be, so if I choose US dollars, there's no conversion. I choose local currency, it's going to be converted, and you can see the fee. Okay, so this will cost $23. The conversion to local currency will cost $7.50. Okay, so I'm going to go with bank deposit. I'm going to click here. I'm going to need to put in a SWIFT code. Yeah, I'm going to need to put in a bank account. Then I'm going to click next. That's not a bank account. Where's the bank account? Okay, yeah. This is dev again. Here we see a confirmation of the data. Okay, if this wasn't dev, then I would get a quote for that place. It will show me how much I will pay. Click finish, and that's it. That's the whole process. Okay, so again, let's try a different location now. Okay, now depending on where you are, you have different options. So United States, we have different option for different prices. Okay, next day bank deposit, for example. And here I have the banking details saved, which is easier. It will be saved once you've done a transaction to a specific rail. So if you've withdrawn in the US or withdrawn in Ghana or wherever, once you've done it twice, we will save that data. Next time you'll come to do it, we will provide you with that same bank account. And you're going to need to make sure, you're going to need to confirm that this is where you want to withdraw. Okay, so this is our quote. I can see which bank account I'm sending it to. I can see the fee, how much I'm sending, the exchange rate. There's no exchange rate from US dollar to US dollar. But if I was withdrawing euros, then I would see the exchange rate. And then I click finish, and that's it. Perfect. I've actually managed to trigger a compliance lock on my account because I was trying to send money to Ghana and then to the United States. Two accounts that are not under my name. So that's a very good example of what we talked about before. This is not going to happen when you're sending money to your own bank account. Okay, but this is a very good example. Okay. That's what I had on the platform. Do we have any more questions in the chat that I did not answer?
Could you talk about the coin exchange going to Ethereum, Bitcoin, and how that would operate? And can you show that as well?
It's basically it's the same thing. So where you had bank wires, you would have Ethereum or Bitcoin, and you would just select that option.
The current wallet you have for the whatever Bitcoin wallet you use, you just put that wallet information in there.
Exactly.
Perfect.
It's exactly the same thing. It's just we don't have that enabled on the dev environment, unfortunately.
Gotcha. I just wanted to say that out loud so people could. I knew there would be questions about that.
So any withdrawal looks exactly the same. You select the service, whether it's a bank wire, whether it's a next day bank transfer or a crypto, and you just put in your bank details or crypto wallet details and move on.
So this is a question I've got a couple times, and I don't know if anyone is going to ask it, so I'll ask it. How is the fee? So how is the fee decided, and then how is the conversion rate decided? Where do you all get those numbers from?
So the fee is decided based on where you are withdrawing. As you've explained, we work with multiple partners in order to facilitate the 230 plus countries we work with. Each one of these partners have their own pricing, and that price might vary depending on the rail you use. So if you're using next day bank deposit versus same day bank deposit, then the price is different. We get our prices from our partners, which is why they can vary dramatically depending on where you're withdrawing to. Okay, the FX is based on the FX of the day. Now, specifically crypto, gas fees, remember, are extremely dynamic. They can change within 60 seconds, they can change very dramatically.
Mhm. Lovely. So I know some of you are asking questions in the chat. I want to give anyone the opportunity without being hyper specific, if they do have a question or if they do want to bring something to the community on the call. Birgit, I know that you raised your hand before. I want to get to you. So please, by all means, raise your hand if you do have a question, unmute yourself, and let's get down to some common questions that we might have. Birgit, how are you today?
I'm fine. I have a question for Avital, or not really a question, just a statement, because he said that they are not a bank. And some people I had to teach in the beginning that they do not put monies from Root and let it sit with MassPay because they're not a bank. I mean, it's like putting your burden on them and they don't even charge for it. And that's why it's only a provider to further it to your bank account or your crypto account, whatever. So some people didn't understand that they cannot let money sit after they take it from Root to MassPay and then don't do anything. And then some people didn't understand that they cannot go to MassPay directly and open an account because that is in no way connected with Root. So the only way you pointed it out is to withdraw money from Root and get an email, you have been paid, and go on that, and that will open your account. And that is what I want people to understand, that there is no way you can let the money just rot there.
That is a really good point. I wanna make light of that because I have had some people contact me and say that MassPay is taking their money. And so MassPay is a service, right? They're in a silo. I was a Root ambassador before I started working for the brand. And so I have my own personal account, which earns. Do you want to know how many times I withdrew money from MassPay? 0. I don't even have my email set up for MassPay to create an account for me. Now that's me. What I will tell you is that anyone on this call, unless you have in your mind or you want to transfer money to your bank account, I would suggest not transferring money to MassPay. Because if you're thinking through, I don't want this money to stay in my root wallet, you're better off keeping the money in your root wallet, because if your money stays stagnant in your MassPay account, there's fees associated with that, because it's almost like they're acting as, and forgive me, Avatar, unless I'm incorrect, like a bank. And so you're just keeping your money there. It does you no good. It's better off just staying in your root wallet. So unless you are anticipating executing a withdrawal in which you want to pull points and exchange them into dollars, euros, pounds, whatever your currency is, you should not be creating a MassPay account and transferring your money. There's no reason for that. And I'm sharing with you that I still have money in my wallet, but my wallet has served me one purpose, and I just send people money. I just transfer money or points, excuse me, sorry. I transfer points to other ambassadors or new customers that I sign up to buy product. That's it. Now, that might not be for you, but MassPay is not a bank. They are an intermediary, a liaison that we work with that helps us transfer that money to your bank account. And so please know that unless you're fulfilling that execution of wanting to take your root points and turn them into currency and get them in your bank account so you can use them for whatever you shall wish, I would suggest not doing that.
And to be clear, we try to be very very fair about our fees. So MassPay only charge fees for money that lies in the wallet, in the MassPay wallet, and not transferred after 3 months. But legally, we're not allowed to just keep money there indefinitely. Okay, so if you have monies lying in MassPay and you're not withdrawing anything from MassPay for 90 days, then we will start charging you inactivity fees. That is $9.99 a month.
So go ahead, Duquesne.
Well, I had another question since no one else had their hands raised, unless Birgit had more to add to that. So this has come up a couple times of somebody has a personal account in MassPay and their root account is their personal account, but they want to convert their personal account to a business account. And so they go in and they change their name to their Duquesne LLC. What does an ambassador need to do to make sure that a business account or a new account is also linked up in MassPay that aligns with that? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So first of all, the moment you will change your account name, and you would change it in root, it will automatically change in MassPay. At that second, your account will also be locked, because name changes are not permitted, because your account should be in your name. So first thing you want to do is you probably want to do a preemptive strike here and reach out to support before you do it. Tell them, hey, I want to change my account name to my business name. I'm going to reach out to Root and ask them to do it, but tell me which documents do you need from me first so you can approve me. And then you're not going to come to a position where you're locked and now you're waiting for our compliance to release your account and you can't withdraw.
Let's also add the caveat, because I want to make sure we're clear, because there are a lot of female individuals that are ambassadors, and there are life-changing events that could occur in which where your last name is maybe changing to take on your new husband's name. And so obviously that falls in line with changing your name in your root account, which would change your bank account. So know that that information is valuable to MassPay to understand if you are updating or changing your last name to take on your new husband's last name, if that makes sense. So there
And
are
to be
like
clear,
go.
You only update MassPay. You only change your name in MassPay if you've changed your name on your bank account. If you've taken your husband's name and you did not update your bank account name, then do not change your name in MassPay. Your name needs to match your MassPay account. Now, as for a business, we will ask for
EIN.
more than EIM. For some reason, I forgot the name. The letter of incorporation. We're going to need proof that you own that business, or at least that you are a major shareholder in that company. Okay. Once we have that proof, then we will change that to a business account, and you will have no problem withdrawing to your business account. But whatever you do, it's either or. You cannot say that you're going to withdraw to your personal account today, your business account tomorrow, then back to your personal account. You deposit either to this one or that one. Next question.
Sandy. How are you, buddy?
Hey, Patrick, thank you. Hi, Avatar. Last week I tried to do a test withdrawal of $10 to my GBP account, and I kept getting the unable to get pricing, whatever. And then I emailed support, and they told me that there was a minimum withdrawal of $50 to GBP. Is that true?
Yes.
And why is that not advertised? And where can we get a list of those restrictions or those conditions?
So I'm afraid right now I don't have a list of those restrictions because it's very dynamic based on the partner you're withdrawing from. That restrictions comes from our partner, not from MassPay.
Okay.
Some partners will say, I'm not, it's not worth my fees on because their fees are in percentage for a deposit not greater than. Now, we are working on, unfortunately, we've been working on it for a while, on releasing a new members user interface, and that members user interface will reflect those things. But until that is out of QA and into production, I'm afraid that you will only find out about this through support, unfortunately. Okay. It's not very common. I would say that, try to withdraw over $50 is a good rule of thumb, because otherwise it's not, I don't think it's going to be worth the fees for you either way. The fees and the conversions, it's not going to worth it. I understand that you want to do a test, on a low sum to make sure that everything works properly. But I would say 50 is a good rule of thumb minimum.
Okay, thank you. Another question I've got. So I did a crypto withdrawal, and I have a few wallets, and it was I think it was Bitcoin, and then I wanted to change to another wallet that I own. But when I did that, my account went into review, and I don't know why, because I'm only transferring money to myself. I'm not money laundering or anything like that. Now, every time I want to transfer crypto to another address, which is owned by me, do I need to email support and saying I'm transferring money to this address? Is that okay? Because that's what I'm a bit wary now, as you can imagine.
You don't need to do that, and it's not. So I understand why you were locked, okay? But honestly, the automation and AI behind that system that lock you is more than I can try and put into my logic and say, okay, I can predict if you're going to be locked the next time or not. You should be ready with proof of ownership in case you are locked when you do it. But yes, this is, and again, this is very important. I usually start with this when I talk about compliance. When your account is locked for compliance, this is not a personal reflection on you. Okay, there are rules and regulations that we have to follow. There's an automated system that decides when to flag you and when not to flag you. Honestly, a lot of times we're not even allowed to tell you why you were flagged, because them's are the rules. Okay, for some cases, I can't even get a straight answer out of my compliance team, and I'm the boss of their boss. But that's just how it works, unfortunately. But no, I don't expect that to happen every time. It might be that you've done it in a short period of time. It might be that one of the wallets that you were depositing to is on some sort of blacklist. And that happens quite a lot in crypto. Also, if you have more than one account in MassPay, I don't know if anyone here has more than one account in MassPay. It happened. Some of our some people are working with multiple MassPay clients. So you could be working with Root and 2 other clients of ours. And if you have a different name there and you're depositing to that same wallet, then that will automatically lock you, because we want to make sure that those 2 accounts are the same person.
Okay. Thank you very much, Avatar. Thank you, Patrick.
Of course. And I think to speak on that, and look, this might be oversharing, but the compliance flags in which MassPay has set up, there's been, and I can maybe count on one hand, I don't want to call them a mistake, or maybe there was an error in the flagging, and once it was reviewed, or somebody came to me or Duquesne, and we reached out and escalated this with Avatal and the customer support team, it was a quick release because it was yeah, this account is fine. It shouldn't have been flagged. And so please, Avatal has created a very, very great dynamic customer support team with MassPay. And he has worked very closely with Duquesne and myself to not only revamp the processes and standard operating procedures that the customer support team has at MassPay, but to put specific teams involved where he's overseeing our interaction because of not only how much business we do with MassPay, but how great of a customer we've been, because we are a customer of MassPay. They are a partner of ours, but long behold, we are a customer. And so if you feel that your entry into compliance is an error or a mistake, or you don't understand it, please, please, please reach out to support@masspay.io. And if you feel that you're not getting anywhere with their customer support team, you can escalate that then with Duquesne or myself, and we will help you orchestrate that, because we understand how important it is when you're involving funds. A lot of you utilize Root points to transfer into your bank accounts to live your life, whether that's paying rent, paying the bills, paying your health insurance, paying groceries, life. And we understand that that is the utmost importance. And so I want to make sure that I set the precedence that when it comes to this, if you want assistance with working with MassPay's customer support team, or you're not getting a response, that needs to be flagged with us. And we work directly with Avatal and his team to make sure that we get you unlocked as quick as possible. Because I know that Avatal shared earlier, but where MassPay, there's fees in terms of when they do these transfers. And so it behooves MassPay to do business and to unlock your account so that you can transfer your money into your bank account. They don't want the money to stay in their account. It's just a railway opening system that's working with our Root customers and our ambassadors. And so we are here to support and to work with you and to help you make the changes on your account to get those unlocked as quick as possible. Because I know that we had a call around February or March when there was a lot of issues within MassPay, and then the railways that they used got shut down. They had 24 hours to put in plan B measures. We were working with a lot of you that are on this call right now very directly to get that done as quick as possible, because we knew the utmost importance. And so please, I want to make sure that Duquesne and myself make ourselves available if you are finding that you're not getting anywhere with the MassPay customer support team. But I wanted to make sure that I put notice of how much work Avatal has put in revamping and creating SOPs around customer support to ensure that you guys get the best care possible.
I was going to add on to that too. And Avatal's built in every 2 weeks, he sends us a list of any ongoing issues. And so actually, Sandy, we had talked about what you just brought up last week, because that was one of the ongoing issues on Avatal's report. And so I'm glad you got to ask, because I don't know if we had passed on what we learned, but
We didn't.
He gives us a list of maybe Patrick did. I definitely forgot. Hopefully Patrick
I
did.
definitely forgot.
Sorry, Sandy. But Avatar lets us know any ongoing issues, and so that way we can work through them on our meeting every 2 weeks. And so thank you, Avatar, about that, because that is helpful, because like Sandy's issue, we got to talk about a little bit. I know there's a couple other people. Regina's had some issues before where Avatar's brought them to our attention. Some other people are on here. Alona, I know, has had a couple, and maybe even Birgit showed up on our report. Actually, it's usually people Birgit is reaching out to us for to help her community. So it's not usually Birgit herself, but she's helping people. So thank you for that, Birgit. But yeah, Avatar is really great at bringing stuff to our awareness. And we've been doing this for about 2 weeks, and it's been very helpful. So Patrick and I can stay involved. But I see Birgit has another question. So go for it, Birgit.
No question, only big thanks. I know some people had big problems, and now that we understand more and more about railways and all those things, I think it's getting easier. And I just wanted to thank you, Duquesne, and you, Patrick, for always having a shoulder to cry on and an open ear, because, you know, funds having or funds not having in Germany is very important. And that's when it doesn't come for a long time, you sort of, we say, turn on the wheel, you know, of panic. So thank you ever so much for helping me also with transfers from MassPay to Wise, and Brent Goes was before Avital came and did a wonderful job. I just think we all work very well together if we communicate, and Avital has been talking to me also when I had a question over support. So thank you very much for touching base. And yeah, I just wanted to say toda raba. And take care when traveling in Northern Israel.
Thank you.
Patrick, did you share this?
Navigate your workspace. What's that?
I did not, but that's great. Thank you. I couldn't find.
Oh, it's Hans-Peter Barry's Wheels whiteboard. Where is he? He has to kill it. Okay, great.
I got it. We finished we got 6 more minutes if anyone else has a question, and if not.
Lovely. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Avatar and the team at MassPay. We have done a tremendous amount of work, like Duquesne said, to really put some good foundational structure around MassPay after the disruption that we had in February and March. That being said, we are here. We meet with MassPay every 2 weeks. We are given a list of users that are potentially maybe locked, having issues, top issues, and we execute those. We reach out to those individuals to help support them. Like I said, it doesn't make sense for us to just sit here and twiddle our thumbs why a Sandy or a Birgit or a Barut or whoever has a locked account. It makes sense for us to help support you, and that's what we are. We are a support team to help. So always ensure that you're reaching out. And if you are having a problem, I'd rather, instead of you being pissed off about it, tell us so that we can fix it. So tell us before you get pissed off about it. Tell us when you get locked into compliance. Don't wait until you're like, yeah, I've been in compliance for 2 weeks. This sucks. It's like, well, where were you 2 weeks ago when you got the email about being in compliance? So please overshare. Yes, we're busy. Yes, there's a lot of things to do. But if you send me a message on WhatsApp, you know what I'm going to do? When I'm not busy, I'm going to respond to it. Same thing with Duquesne. And so that needs to be the precedence. Now, I'm not opening up the gates for all of you to send me messages on WhatsApp because I get a lot of them already. But if you have a problem with your bank and you're not getting your funds, that's my problem. That is Duquesne's problem. That is our problem as a team. We want to help you. That's what we're here for. I appreciate everyone joining today.
I got one thing.
Go Duquesne. I knew
Um,
you had one thing. I can read. I can like.
We got pretty good at this. Just a reminder that we do have the RPS call next Monday. And I know a lot of you all are RPS or you have RPS people in your community, but that will be a big call and you all want to be there for a few reasons and a few special treats that RPS people will get compared to the rest of the community. So if you're not on RPS, might be a good week to join so you can join that call.
Just saying. Hint, hint.
That's all I got.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Avatar. I will call you in a sec because I saw your message.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Good call.
Bye.
Bye.